Hi, I'm Liam Dann. Welcome to Money Talks. This is a podcast about our relationship with money. We're not going to tell you how to get rich, and we're not going to try and pick the next interest rate move. In this series, I'll be talking to some interesting New Zealanders about how money has shaped their lives and what they've learned about it through the years. This week, I'm talking to comedian James Mustapic. James has just won $100,000 for charity. Now he's back on our screens in Queer Academy from Re News and TVNZ+. And he's heading out on his Doing My Best tour across the country. Kia ora, James. Welcome to Money Talks. Firstly, congratulations on winning Celebrity Treasure Island. This is a show about money, so I've got to ask, you opened that chest, all that gold, did it feel like you were really striking it rich?
Look, we were all tired. It had been a long journey.
Yeah.
So it felt good that it was done. But I was
some relief.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I was very happy. It was very exciting.
And do people have people confused that with real life? Do people think you really won all that money and that you're rich now?
Not many people have, sadly. They state that it's for charity. So, if someone thought that I was 100k richer, then I'll take it.
So it was pretty tough in there, right? So you're eating rice and beans, and I just wonder, was that sort of like going back to uni days, or one of the questions we ask on the show is, what's the poorest you've ever been? Was it a bit like an experience that you've been through in terms of having to survive on the basics? Yeah,
well, I'm back in my uni days for sure. I was a bit of a. Yeah, I really did have to, just have the 2-minute noodles and not really, but kind of.
Just surviving. Yeah. It's a lot of spotlight suddenly. That's, I was going to sort of almost tease a little bit about celebrity as a career path because it's in the job title now and you've won it. Yeah. What do you make of celebrity as a job?
Well, look, I begged to get on the show. I did not consider myself a celebrity, but I kind of thought... I really wanted to do it, and I thought maybe, I'm slowly becoming a bit more well-known as a comedian, but I was, definitely not a celeb.
There's quite a difference, isn't there? I mean, you've got a comedy scene, and you've got gigging, and then being in people's living rooms night after night is another level, right?
Yeah, definitely. I think it is definitely the most I've been on TV ever. So
how do you play that? Do you have to leverage the spotlight now? You've got other things coming up. Queer Academy on TVNZ+, I think, out this week, and heading out on tour. Is it sort of keep the ball rolling? Do you have a long-term plan on that?
Yeah, a little bit. I guess it's hard because it's kind of, you feel a bit tragic trying to
leverage too hard.
Yeah. But, I talked to Guy Montgomery, who's a comedian who did Celebrity Treasure Island, but has also just, done many different shows.
He did very badly on that, didn't he? Yes, first time I saw you actually was on the Spelling Bee earlier this year. I thought that was really cool.
Great, yeah, it's so good. But he was telling me that, you get on and you've only got a limited time before the reality TV fans kind of forget who you are. And he was like, you really need to... get them along to live comedy because that's where you have the most kind of control over your what you do, and hopefully that once they see you do stand up, then they'll want to come back in future comedy fests and stuff.
It's kind of actually growing the whole pool of comedy fans.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's jump back a bit. These are some of the questions I ask the guests each week. But, what are your first memories of having money? Do you remember ever having, when you first might have held it in your hand?
Yeah, I reckon. This like the $2. I think maybe I was getting $2 pocket money each week or something. And very occasionally when I see a $2 coin, it takes me back to being a child and feeling powerful with all my money. Yeah,
were the things that you particularly would buy or you'd save up for?
Good question. I guess I loved Pokemon. Don't know if you're a fan.
I'm going to age myself. I think my kids were. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Bit of that. Bit of lollies. Good dollar mix at the dairy. That was always a big win for me.
So where were you growing up?
Dunedin.
Yep. And did you go, when you talked about going to uni, was that all through Dunedin?
So I had my first year at Otago, and I was living at home. So that was kind of, it wasn't really the full uni experience. And then I moved to Auckland and transferred and did my next 2 years at Uni of Auckland.
Sure. So how was that? A shock to the system? That's when you find out the real value of money, when you move out of home like that, right?
Yeah, true. Yeah. Yeah, it was weird. So my first year in Auckland, actually, I lived with a family friend in St Heliers. Shout out to my queen. It was a very lovely house out in... Yes, so I wasn't living the student lifestyle
quite on the breadline,
yet. But then after that, I moved into a flat, and that flat was awful and disgusting, and there was lots of people living there. So yeah, that was kind of my foray. But yeah, I had a little kind of a part-time job working at TVNZ. But yeah, it is hard when you are not.
Were you sort of the run-around guy at TVNZ and grab coffees and all that sort of stuff? Or?
I got hired to make, because I made YouTube videos about Shortland Street.
Ah, right, yeah.
And then TVNZ got me to do videos recapping all of their shows, and it was terrible, and it was very low paid, and I did not make a return after my 1 year.
Sure, yeah. I mean, growing up, did you sort of feel like you would you describe your family as having money, or you were comfortable, or you felt was money a thing that was even sort of featured in your life as a young child?
So that's a great question. Yeah, so I remember like my mum worked very hard. She was single mother and had a lot of like kind of family court lawyer bills and things. So we were kind of, I definitely, I know we weren't poor or really, really struggling. I mean, maybe at times, but, we were okay. And then I went to a boys' school that was it's called John McGlashan College, shout out. And
it's Don, not John. I mean John, not Don. I was going to say. It'd be great if there was a Don McGlashan College.
Yeah, I'd go there. I'd study there, but don't even know who John McGlashan is. But and that was, I definitely remember going there and thinking I am poor compared to most people here. It's not like private. I can't remember the term, but it's like semi-private school. And I definitely remember like a lot of the kids having way more money. But again, we were fine and, lucky compared to many kids across Aotearoa. So
I already sort of asked, the poorest you've ever been question, but on the flip side, what would you say the most indulgent purchase you've ever made is?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know. I don't drive, so
it's not a car.
Yeah. I paid off my student loan. Does that count?
Yeah, sure.
Weirdly, because I think I kind of grew up with like a saving mentality. I think I got that from my mum. She was quite a big saver and really tried to, be frugal. And so I've always tried to be a somewhat, I don't know. The more money I get, the more kind of careless I become, I guess, which isn't great. But I remember I think I'd paid off some of my student loan, and I was also, for a number of years, for a while I went on the benefit when I was kind of doing stand-up but not really making much money. And then I remember I had some savings, and I think when you're on the benefit, if you have more than like 8K savings, then you can't get the accommodation supplement or something.
Right, yeah.
I don't know how it works, but anyway, I was like, maybe if I pay off my student loan, then I will have less than that amount of savings, and then I'll be able to get more.
Yeah.
Is that allowed to say? I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's just smart economics, isn't it? I mean, one of the things about being a comedian is that you're very much in. Well, it is. You're gigging, but it's the gig economy. It's contracts and things. So, how do you, is that sort of force you to be cautious with money, or is the flip side? You could sort of go, oh well, who cares? Let's just live week to week.
Yes, I think. A lot of comedians are are different, but I think you're right. It's because often you don't have a stable job. You are kind of thinking, well, because it's weird. It's like, you can get paid, not often, but I've done a few gigs where I get paid, $1,000 for 10 or 15 minutes of talking on stage.
Yeah.
Again, not often, but occasionally. And then it's crazy. That's a large amount of money to get per minute of work. But then, you might not have any gigs for weeks. And it really kind of depends. So, I think I do try to be sensible with my money, because I worry that, who knows what will happen in the next months.
Yeah, well, I guess that's where leveraging things now, maybe, like there's a lot of conference, you get that exposure, and it's just it's a trade-off, right? You want to do what you want to do. You want to make things and do your own stand-up, but there probably is quite good money doing insurance conferences and things right now.
Yeah, corporate gigs. I haven't really done any corporate, but a lot of it's a comedian's dilemma. They're often the highest paying gigs, can get quite a few grand, but they're also often the worst.
Quite soul-destroying.
Yeah.
A question here that we asked last week, and since the election campaign, and Christopher Luxon revealed kind of weirdly that he spends $60 a week on groceries, we've been asking people how much you spend, and is it a big part of your expenses?
Yeah, look, I would say that I probably food and drink are my biggest expenses, probably, just because, I don't know, I don't cook very often, so I just often spending a lot on food, and then
so it's more like eating out.
Yeah.
I suspect that's why our new Prime Minister only spends $60 a week as well. He must be eating out a lot.
I've at the moment I'm buying many packets of blueberries per week just because I enjoy them, and I probably spend close to 60. Well, maybe, quite possibly $30-$40 on blueberries each week.
Yeah, well, they're not actually that cheap.
No.
Although you can get I don't want to divert too much into blueberries, but there was that whole hepatitis thing, and you had to buy the frozen ones are cheaper, but you had to be careful of the ones that were coming in from out of the country, right? So
I mostly eat the fresh ones.
Right. Well, there you go. There's your most
Very
indulgent.
Grateful for. Yeah, that's right. True.
When and if, I'm assuming here, you imagine winning lotto, is there an amount of money that would be your ideal amount to win for lotto?
That's a good question. I do really think I like to. I mean, this is a lame answer. I feel like everyone says this. I do get some joy out of working, and I think slowly building something and moving up in a career is quite exciting. So, I don't know.
You don't want to win 60 million overnight or something.
Well, I mean, I may as well take it. If you're letting me choose the amount, I'll take a bill. Why not? And then I could donate some. But then I think, you think, I'd donate that, and then you start getting greedy, and you're like, oh. So I don't know. I don't buy lotto tickets, but yeah, I mean, we can't say no.
I don't know. I've never bought lotto tickets, and I sometimes imagine if I'd invested the money I didn't spend on lotto tickets. I haven't done that either, but it's 20, I don't even know what they are, $25 a week or something like that if you were careful with the money. Yeah.
Interest rates are good, I hear, at the moment.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, I guess for a lot of young people living in Auckland, the big thing is housing, really, the dream of getting, because you can be quite successful and it's still quite prohibitive. Is it sort of a goal for you to get on the property ladder?
Yeah, I hate to say it, but yeah, it is. And I don't have any huge, I'm not like desperate to get one, and I'm not in a place where I could. But yeah, I would like to at some point. But yeah, it's weird. It's like very few of my friends own houses. Some of them own like part of a house or, but...
There's that dilemma where you're living a very cool inner city lifestyle and then you have to decide whether to go and live in Gleneden or something.
Yeah, well
or somewhere anywhere. That would just
especially because I don't drive. Those Uber prices, they'll be my next indulgent purchase.
Actually, Gleneden, very good for the trains. But
oh yes, I do love a train. I mean... The biggest fear for me with trying to get a house would probably be like having a stable job, because I feel like that's a big thing for banks, right? If
Yeah,
you're trying to get a loan.
It is very tough to convince them, even for all sorts of entrepreneurs and small business people. They just don't really understand. Even when you've got a bit of a track record, they like salaries. They don't trust sort of gigs and contracts. It takes a while. I think it takes a few years to show them a track record.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I have kind of considered like what it would be like to have a full-time job that is not really in comedy or whatever. But there are some. I mean, I guess you would know these people. There are some good role models, some who we've even talked to on the show who've found that pathway in New Zealand, which is not easy, obviously, is it? But that mixture of corporate gigs, bit of TV, and doing the stuff that's sort of true to what you want to be doing on stage. It's I think Michelle Accourt and even Jessie Mulligan recently. But it's tough. It's a small market here. Yes, yeah.
Is it tempting to head to Sydney or London?
It is a bit. I've had a couple of friends move to Melbourne, and they've had quite big success over there, it's really cool. But I think my comedy has been quite New Zealand specific, with making fun of New Zealand celebrities and things. It would be hard to transfer, and I feel like I'd have to start again over there. Whereas
true.
I feel like I've slowly kind of been working up in the New Zealand comedy scene, and more people are starting to know me. I think it would be probably not the best move right now to just go and have to start from scratch. But it is definitely, I think about it sometimes. Yeah.
You've sort of answered this already, but because you've stuck to your guns on this path. But is making money important to you, or more a byproduct of the success?
I think it's not hugely. I think the older I get, the more I do feel. When I was like 21 or whatever, I was just happy being on the benefit. Not really. I just was like, comedy is my passion, and if I have to be poor for a while, and then at least I get to time to work on comedy. Because if you take a random job, you might get some money, but you don't really have time to be creative, and
you might never leave it. Accounting.
True.
I mean, I guess some people do that. They do the accounting job and then they decide to drop out and try comedy or acting or something. But.
Yeah. Yes. So I think, but the older I get, the more I start to think, I don't want to be, I'm doing fine. I'm earning okay money. But it's a bit scary. Not really having any kind of, I occasionally do think, this could all just, I could never get a TV gig again or whatever.
Did you ever have like a plan B? What did you study at university?
Okay, good question. Well, I did media studies and sociology as double major.
Okay, I got the same degrees.
Oh, really?
So,
oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
well, they're interesting.
Yeah. That was kind of another thing I kind of just did while I was working out comedy, just as a kind of backup. But I guess I could. What do you do? What is sociology? I never even knew.
I don't know. I always used to laugh about setting up a little sociology office and just. You picked Gender Minorities Aotearoa for your charity. I mean, it's quite a nice thing that you get to do in the Celebrity Treasure Island. Is charity a big thing to you, or is it just the first time you've had the opportunity to sort of get involved at that level?
Yeah, I guess it's kind of one of the first times that I've. We often do sort of charity gigs with stand-up. Laura Daniel, who was also on Celebrity Treasure Island, is putting on a big show to raise money for Shine, her charity, because she didn't get to make money for them on Celebrity Treasure Island, unfortunately. So, there's definitely some, charity fundraisers and things, but this was definitely the biggest scale opportunity to make money for them, and it was really cool. It's because they're a small charity, and there's I don't think a lot of people have heard of them, so it was nice to be able to just even give them a shout out. But to win the big money was also
well, you must have been quite popular around that organisation.
I hope so. Now I feel bad early on when I said that I said that we were all just happy to
to get out of there.
Yeah.
Oh, look, it's it looked pretty tough. in
Yeah,
places.
we were exhausted by the end of it, but it was very fun. I'd do it again in a heartbeat.
Run us through what you got coming up. I mean, I'm interested in for example, what your show now is focused on, and also, what you'd like to be doing in the next year or so.
So, yes, I've got a little tour coming up in November and December. Check out my Instagram or Facebook to find out the dates if you want to come and make that money talk and buy a ticket. But, yes, so doing that, and then I've got I presented a show on Renews at TVNZ, which is coming out this week, and it's called Queer Academy, and each episode sort of tackles a different topic kind of related to queer culture and our lifestyle.
Yeah.
And it's a bit more of a serious one.
So it's like a magazine show. Would you?
Yeah. What's a magazine?
That's a good question. I don't know, like a lifestyle, but with a few serious issues and a mixture of light and heavy and.
Yes. So it's kind of comedic still, but the topics that we cover are a bit more serious, which is a new foray for me.
And do you? I mean, is this generated by you? Do you pitch this? Have to pitch this at TVNZ? Or?
So I didn't pitch this one. This was pitched by someone else, and so this one is kind of different, where I just kind of come on as a presenter, did a bit of writing, but that's more driven by them. But then, last year I made a show, pitched it. Called Abandonment Issues on TVNZ, and that was kind of written and created and sort of all, devised by me, I guess. And then I've got a show next year, which I pitched as well with a production company, with my mum, which I'm going to find her a man, hopefully. And that was the same. So, but it's tricky. You kind of...
And do you have to learn the, not exactly the money side, but the commercial side to be, you've got to deal with marketing departments and all that at that point?
Yeah, it's weird. It is. You kind of do. I mean, I work with a production company, so they kind of handle the money side. But, there's a lot of things that kind of come up where, this might cost... Filming here might cost this much, or is that, and so I do end up kind of getting, because I'm so involved in the show, I am in discussions about all those things. So you kind of, you learn about budgets and all those kind of stressful things.
Is your mum like a creative partner, or how did you get her involved?
Jenna is I don't think she'd consider herself a creative partner. She doesn't. She just kind of does what I tell her to do.
Yeah. But she's talent though.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So she's on an episode of Queer Academy. She's actually a psychologist. So she kind of came on as an interviewee, but then we also talked about my coming out to her and things like that. So it's quite fun. And then with this show, trying to find her a boyfriend, she was very not keen to be a part of that, but I managed to convince her, and yes, she's very good. She just kind of, I don't think everyone's mum would do that, so I'm grateful.
Yeah. And is your current tour kind of like, are you going through all the towns of New Zealand, or is it all the cheap motels of Hamilton and Huntley and?
Yeah, I'm mostly just doing the main cities, just because I can't drive. And I would have to pay for someone to take me all around, I guess, which is a cost, and it is hard. I mean, in the Comedy Fest, I know they won't listen, but they won't like me saying, but it's very hard to make money, and you do, night after night of shows, and even though it's like, you might do a venue of 100 or 150 and the tickets are $30 each, at least $3,000. $3,000? Per night, and then you do 5 nights and then another 5 nights or whatever. It might seem like a lot of money, but then you get your settlement, and it is it's rough.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of trade-off between how much you're doing this to build your brand and all that sort of stuff, and how much you need to get paid. And I guess at some point along the way, you've got to start thinking about getting paid a bit more. Otherwise, you're not going to be going forward. It's a hard choice to make because everyone's trying to make it, and so they're all wanting to get.
That's right. You're right. It is a real trade-off of how much do I invest in and spend a whole bunch in the hopes that eventually. I mean, even just like paying, for Facebook ads and things that can be expensive, and you kind of think, well, is it worth getting another ticket sold? Or am I spending weight? Yeah, you've really got to work out ways to translate it into money. And it's weird because it's some comedians have there's Patreon where you can get people to give you a monthly amount and. And then
you've got to do a blog or something to share to make it.
Yeah, and then it's I don't know if I want to rely on people that are I don't know, it feels a bit stressful to, am I pleasing my fans?
Your super fans. You have this small group of super fans and that can get a little weird.
And then they're providing your income and it feels a bit weird.
Yeah, there's journalists who do that now as well. And I don't know, it would seem a little weird to me. Are there other ways to make money? Could you do merchandising? Could you have your face and your Treasure Island catchphrase? And
that's a good question. Yeah, I mean, a few people have said to me that I had on Celebrity Treasure Island, I was always saying, "Oh no," and a few people have said, put it on a T-shirt. But I don't know. It feels a wee bit. What's the word? I don't know, self-indulgent and a bit, and then it'd be really embarrassing if you go to all this effort to make merch and then no one buys
boxes and boxes in your garage.
So I don't know. It's always as you say, it's a bit of a trade-off, but who knows? If I was,
a lot of it comes down to how much you want to hustle and be entrepreneurial, and how much you want to make. How much you're really desperate to make money, I guess.
Yeah, and there's comedians that really hustle, and good on them. But sometimes, I mean, maybe it's the tall poppy Kiwi culture, but then there's a whole group of comedians, including myself, that kind of go that's cringe.
Yeah,
and
you're trying
hustling too hard.
You're trying to build a long-term career here. You don't want to be sort of overexposed, and you want to build a brand over time.
You're right, and you can become too overexposed, and if you constantly kind of doing shameless self-promotional things, then maybe it can backfire. But I don't know. Who knows? I don't understand any of it really.
All right, James, that's a great place to leave it. Thank you so much for coming in and sharing all your experiences. And good luck with the next year or so of what sounds like pretty exciting projects.
Thank you so much. Great to chat.
This has been Money Talks. Thanks for listening. You can find details for the Doing My Best tour on James's Instagram. And you can watch Celebrity Treasure Island and Queer Academy now on TVNZ+. If you've got feedback, drop me a line at liam.dan@nzme.co.nz. Thanks to my producer, Ethan Sills, and my editor, Leanne McDonald. You can follow Money Talks on iHeartRadio or wherever you get your podcasts, and we'll catch you again next week.